Okay, TM Nation, when it comes to top tier ANC headphones, the Sony WH-1000 XM5s, AirPods Max, and Bose Quiet Comfort Ultras are the best that I've tried to date. Yes, there definitely are more budget-friendly options out there that will give you good performance, but in terms of the best that I can take pretty much anywhere and be confident that the transparency will pick up a wide range of sound when I need it to, and that the ANC will block out pretty much everything when I need that, these are the gold standard headphones that I have in my collection. And to be completely honest, up until about 3 weeks ago, I hadn't purchased a pair of Bose headphones in over 5 years. The last pair that I picked up were the QC35-2s back in like 2017, and I really didn't like the performance that I got out of them for the amount of money that I paid for them, and I never really even considered picking up another pair of Bose headphones until the Ultras came out. And guys, I can't say enough about these. They're definitely impressive in pretty much every category. In fact, I like the Ultras so much, they might replace my AirPods Max headphones as my go-to travel headphones at the moment. Although I love all three pairs and they have their respective places in my collection, none of them are perfect, and some of the features that plain just make life easier for me are not available on the others. That being said, in this video, I'll cover my experience with all three pairs, from ANC and transparency to sound quality, onto battery life, and in general, which pair I think is the overall best buy. Before we go ahead and get into the unboxing, y'all do your boy a huge favor and hit that like button. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps the channel out immensely and I do appreciate it. Let's go. I do want to start off with the cases that come with these headphones, because if you're like me, if you're spending $300+ on a pair of headphones, I'm sure you're not just planning to use them around in your living room or around your house. The Sony and Bose cases are both nice in my opinion, but the AirPods Max purse cover, or whatever you call it, is for sure my least favorite. It really doesn't provide much protection to the headphones besides shielding the ear cups from damage, so I went ahead and paid about $25 and purchased a third-party case to protect them that is just about as nice as the case that I got with the Sonys. And this leads me to the overall portability of these headphones, and the clear winner is gonna be the Ultras, as you can see that they fold up and you can also lay them flat as well if you need to put them down on a surface. The AirPods Max and 1000 XM5s simply have articulating ear cups, which makes it a little bit more difficult to transport them. If you need to throw them into a backpack or a purse, they may not fit depending on the size, because being that they don't completely fold up, they just take up a lot more space. Comfort wise, all three pairs have comfortable ear cups and top headbands that I can wear for longer listening sessions of 6 to 7 hours without any issues, but the AirPods Max headphones are definitely the heaviest. Although the weight distribution with them is good and they never felt like they were giving me any type of fatigue, at 365 grams, they are significantly heavier than the Ultras at 256 grams and the XM5s that come in at 250. If I had to pick a pair just based on comfort, it would be the Ultras, with the XM5s coming in a close second, but like I said, I've worn all of these pairs for hours at a time without any issues. For the battery life specs, the Ultras will provide up to 24 hours of use on a charge, the AirPods Max will give you up to 20, and the XM5s provide the most with up to 30. The numbers with the Ultras and the XM5s will go down significantly if you use them in the LDAC or aptX codecs, or if you enable spatial audio. On the other hand, the AirPods Max don't provide you with access to any of the higher definition codecs, so with ANC and spatial audio on, you still should be able to achieve about 20 hours, if not slightly more. All of these headphones do support fast charging though, so if you find yourself in a crunch and you just need a little juice to get through a workout or something of that nature, 10 to 15 minutes worth of charging will give you at least 3 hours worth of use with each, but the Sonys do lead the pack, giving you about 3 hours worth of use from only a 3-minute charge. One thing to keep in mind is that the AirPods Max headphones still charge via Lightning, and when I think about it, this is the last thing that I own that uses this cable. So until the second generation of these headphones drop, if you want to pick a pair of these up, you're gonna have have to deal with charging them via lightning, unfortunately. Another area where I think the AirPods Max fall short in is the fact that they don't have a dedicated companion app, and if you want to use them with anything besides something that's in the Apple Mac ecosystem, you're gonna be extremely limited in terms of what you can customize. The XM5s and Ultras, on the other hand, have companion apps that work with both Android and iOS devices that allow you to customize a lot of your experience and set a lot of your settings regardless of if you're using an iOS or Android device. Both apps have worked well for me so far, but I do think that the Sony interface is a little bit more polished overall and allows for a little more customization of your playback controls and other functions. But in general, they both allow you to access both your ANC and transparency mode settings, customize your controls to an extent, access your EQ settings, enable immersive audio or 360 sound, and see the charge left on the headphones. I do want to go ahead and touch on the spatial audio with the AirPods Max, the immersive audio with the Ultras, and the 360 sound setting available with the XM5s. Now with the AirPods Max, if you want to go ahead and customize your spatial audio experience, you're going to have to go through the process and take pictures of your ears and having them analyzed by the Apple software. You don't have to do this if you want the standard spatial audio experience. You just have to make sure that you have that setting enabled in your settings. With the 1000 XM5s, you pretty much have to do the analysis in order to get the 360 audio, and it doesn't take terribly long to complete, but it is an extra step that you do have to take to access this feature. The immersive audio works out of the box with the Ultras, and it also has two different settings as well. The first is still, which will kind of keep the sound focused in front of you no matter which way you turn your head, and the second is motion, that will shift the sound with you to provide that surround sound feel. I do like the way that these different modes work with all three pairs, but the added still option with the Ultras isn't quite like anything else that I've tried before. The easiest way for me to explain it is it centers everything like you're sitting in a theater and the sound is being funneled directly to your ears from the front no matter which way your head is turned, which provides another level of immersion that I don't get with the other pairs. Relative to the call quality, I did take samples with all three pairs, and I do think that they all do a pretty good job of focusing on your speech while rejecting some of your ambient noise, but I'll let you guys judge for yourselves. Let's check them out. Alright guys, so right now I have the AirPods Max headphones paired to my iPhone 15 Pro, and as you can see, the audio that you're hearing is coming from the microphones on them. Now the room right now is relatively quiet, but I am going to do my background noise test in just a moment. Give me a second. And I'll go ahead and start talking again. So this should give you a pretty good idea of how well these can focus on your speech while rejecting some of your ambient noise. Now I have the Sony WH-1000 XM5s paired to my iPhone 15 Pro, and again the audio that you're hearing is coming directly from the microphones on them. This right now is with the room relatively quiet, but I am going to do my background noise test. Give me a moment. Now I have the simulated background noise playing in the background with the 1000 XM5s. Let me know what you guys think so far. How did these stack up to the AirPods Max? Now I'm using the Quiet Comfort Ultras, and they are paired to my iPhone 15 Pro. This is the quiet room test, but I will do the background noise test. Give me a second. And here is the background noise test with the Ultras. Again, I am keeping the noise level at the exact same throughout all of these tests. So what do you guys think? How do these perform? Moving on to the ANC performance, like I said earlier, these are all top tier in my opinion, but using them in the same environments, the AirPods Max and Bose come out slightly in front of the Sonys to my ears. With these two pairs, when I put them on my head, I know pretty much everything around me is gonna go silent, as the ANC with them is just that strong and dialed in. As for the XM5s, I still can hear medium levels of talking in some cases and more of lower pitched tones such as engines rumbling and things of that nature than what I get with the other two pairs. Now, is it a world of difference? I wouldn't say that it is, but when I put one pair on immediately after the other in the same environment, the difference is noticeable. The same goes for the transparency, as the AirPods Max have been the strongest in this area since they came out, but the Ultras are just about as good, probably coming in at a close second. The AirPods Max do take the edge in this department just because they don't sound simulated. On the other hand, the Ultras can sound a little AI driven. For the sound quality, the Ultras and AirPods Max are my favorite pairs out of the bunch for the types of music that I listen to, which are mainly hip hop, R&B, some reggae, and similar genres. Now, I don't like the lack of customization that you get with the AirPods Max in terms of their EQs, but they are tuned really well out of the box. They provide buttery smooth highs, mids that are present without being too forward, and bass that is boomy when it needs to be, but not overpowering or distorted. The Ultras provide a similar sound signature for me, but being that I can dial them in the way that I want, I did go ahead and make mine a little bit more brighter on the high end and a bit more bass heavy. With them set this way, I can crank them up to the max volume if I want to and get little to no distortion, which is not the case with the XM5s. With those, I do have to adjust my EQs at times, as if I'm listening to something with a heavy bass line and I need to have my volume at the higher levels, say anything above 75% of the max, I can get some distortion and even some popping from the headphones if I have my EQ set to be bass heavy. This with the 1000 XM5s definitely wasn't as prominent when they were brand new, so this may be something that comes over time, but I definitely don't think this is something that should happen when you're paying $300+ for a pair of headphones. Besides that, I'm able to get a smooth sound with the Sonys as well. I just have to dial the bass back a bit, so I would say that they're not as good as the other two pairs in this department. Now, I do want to go ahead and throw an honorable mention into the mix, which are the Skull Candy Crusher ANC 2 headphones. You can usually find these for around $200 and they're extremely impressive at that price. They're built like a tank, so I have no concerns with their build quality. The battery life is great at up to 50 hours on a charge. They have some of the most comfortable ear cups I've tried on a pair of headphones. They have multi-point connectivity. They're compatible with the Skull IQ functionality that will allow you to adjust your ANC and transparency mode settings, along with the ability to choose from pre-built EQs or create your own. But besides all of that, they do also give you the adjustable amplified sensory bass for you bass heads out there that nothing out there really on the market can compete with, and they also have surprisingly good mic quality when it comes to voice calls as well. The ANC with these really performed better than I was expecting it to, and although it isn't quite top tier in my opinion because it won't cancel out as much of your ambient sound as what you'll get with the other three pairs, it definitely is passable and it's worth it in my opinion based on all of the other features that you get with these headphones. Now this is the call quality test with the Skull Candy Crusher ANC 2s. The room right now is relatively quiet, and again I am paired to the iPhone 15 Pro. Not going to do any editing to this sample. Stay tuned for the background noise test. And here is the background noise test using the Skull Candy Crusher ANC 2s. How do you think these perform in comparison to the other pairs? A little better, a little worse? Let me know what you think. I did do a full video on these, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave the link in the description, but I had to throw these in as an honorable mention as they really provide solid performance across the board. Another thing that I want to touch on is the fact that the AirPods Max, 1000 XM5s, and Quiet Comfort Ultras all do feature multi-point connectivity that makes pairing them to multiple devices at once and switching between them an easy process. However, the AirPods Max take this experience to another level with the smart switching capability, which works great across all of my iPhones, my MacBook, and my iPad. For me, it's extremely convenient for me to be able to put them on my head and have the sound automatically switch to whatever device I'm using at that moment. This feature alone is why I typically pick these up when I'm going on travel, and I know that I'll have to do some editing or other work related tasks because I know that I can use my phone to take calls or anything of that nature and switch over to my MacBook if I need to without pressing a button, which is really a feature that I've come to rely on. A feature that I do like with the Sonys is the quick ambient mode feature, and I've used this a lot of times at the airport. All that you have to do is hold down on the ear cup. It will automatically lower what you're listening to and put on your ambient mode so you can hear what's going on. Outside of that, the Ultras would be my second pick because they're solid all around. They have excellent ANC and transparency performance, very good sound quality, good call quality, and the design is fine too. Although in black, I think that they look a little too plain. I wish that they stood out a little bit more in the crowd, like the XM5s. The XM5s are very solid too, and they were my go-to headphones for travel for several months, but the AirPods Max ultimately took their place because of their ease of use with my Apple devices, and now with the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultras and the fact that they are so easy to transport on top of the excellent all-around performance, they're definitely in a close second. Before you get on out of here, if you rock with the channel and your boy Tech Mo, hit that subscribe button and knock that notification bell out so you won't miss any of my uploads. Welcome to TM Nation. Peace.